exercises and transforms that data into progress. Using smart analysis, we build a customized fitness program just for you, targeting your weaknesses, enhancing your strengths, and adapting as you grow. It's fitness that fits you. Now it's game time. Compete with others, climb the leaderboard, and win exciting prizes by crushing challenges. Stay motivated. Stay accountable. Stay winning. HR, we've got something for you too. The HR dashboard puts everything in one place. From launching wellness challenges to tracking employee progress, this all-in-one hub helps you manage, monitor, and motivate your team toward healthier habits. Easy to use, powerful to lead. Introducing MyHealthCop AI, your personal AI fitness coach, designed to help you move smarter, feel stronger, and live healthier. Your fitness journey kicks off with 4 simple exercises. Butterfly sit-ups, jumping jacks, squats, and push-ups. It tells us just what your body needs. Ready to begin? First, let's check your audio.
Exercise is medicine. Leave healthier, leave stronger, leave longer. Put your phone on the floor against the wall. Body and frame now. Stand still. Try to lift your knees to your elbow.
Once you're done, your instant assessment results show exactly where you stand, but we don't stop at numbers. MyHealthCop takes your performance across all 4 exercises and transforms that data into progress. Using smart analysis, we build a customized fitness program just for you, targeting your weaknesses, enhancing your strengths, and adapting as you grow. It's fitness that fits you. Now it's game time. Compete with others, climb the leaderboard, and win exciting prizes by crushing challenges. Stay motivated. Stay accountable. Stay winning. HR, we've got something for you too. The HR dashboard puts everything in one place. From launching wellness challenges to tracking employee progress, this all-in-one hub helps you manage, monitor, and motivate your team toward healthier habits. Easy to use, powerful to lead. Introducing MyHealthCop AI, your personal AI fitness coach, designed to help you move smarter, feel stronger, and live healthier. Your fitness journey kicks off with 4 simple exercises. Butterfly sit-ups, jumping jacks, squats, and push-ups. It tells us just what your body needs. Ready to begin? First, let's check your audio.
Exercise is medicine. Leave healthier, leave stronger, leave longer. Put your phone on the floor against the wall. Body and frame now. Stand still. Try to lift your knees to your elbow.
Once you're done, your instant assessment results show exactly where you stand, but we don't stop at numbers. MyHealthCop takes your performance across all 4 exercises and transforms that data into progress. Using smart analysis, we build a customized fitness program just for you, targeting your weaknesses, enhancing your strengths, and adapting as you grow. It's fitness that fits you. Now it's game time. Compete with others, climb the leaderboard, and win exciting prizes by crushing challenges. Stay motivated. Stay accountable. Stay winning. HR, we've got something for you too. The HR dashboard puts everything in one place. From launching wellness challenges to tracking employee progress, this all-in-one hub helps you manage, monitor, and motivate your team toward healthier habits. Easy to use, powerful to lead. Introducing My Health Cup AI, your personal AI fitness coach, designed to help you move smarter, feel stronger, and live healthier. Your fitness journey kicks off with 4 simple exercises: butterfly sit-ups, jumping jack, squats, and push-ups. Tells us just what your body needs. Ready to begin? First, let's check your audio.
Exercise is medicine. Leave healthier, leave stronger, leave longer. Put your phone on the floor against the wall. Body and frame net. Stand still. Try to lift your knee to your elbow.
Once you're done, your instant assessment results show exactly where you stand, but we don't stop at numbers. My Health Cup takes your performance across all 4 exercises and transforms that data into progress. Using smart analysis, we build a customized fitness program just for you, targeting your weaknesses, enhancing your strengths, and adapting as you grow. It's fitness that fits you. Now it's game time. Compete with others, climb the leaderboard, and win exciting prizes by crushing challenges. Stay motivated, stay accountable, stay winning. HR, we've got something for you too. The HR dashboard puts everything in one place. From launching wellness challenges to tracking employee progress, this all-in-one hub helps you manage, monitor, and motivate your team toward healthier habits. Easy to use, powerful to lead. Introducing My Health Cup AI, your personal AI fitness coach, designed to help you move smarter, feel stronger, and live healthier. Your fitness journey kicks off with 4 simple exercises: butterfly sit-ups, jumping jack, squats, and push-ups.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to today's webinar. Let's give ourselves 5 minutes of waiting period for the rest of the participants to join. Whilst we wait, let's enjoy the videos being played on our screens. Thank you.
Tells us just what your body needs. Ready to begin? First, let's check your audio.
Exercise is medicine. Leave healthier, leave stronger, leave longer. Put your phone on the floor against the wall. Body and frame net. Stand still. Try to lift your knee to your elbow.
Once you're done, your instant assessment results show exactly where you stand, but we don't stop at numbers. My Health Cup takes your performance across all 4 exercises and transforms that data into progress. Using smart analysis, we build a customized fitness program just for you, targeting your weaknesses, enhancing your strengths, and adapting as you grow. It's fitness that fits you. Now it's game time. Compete with others, climb the leaderboard, and win exciting prizes by crushing challenges. Stay motivated, stay accountable, stay winning. HR, we've got something for you too. The HR dashboard puts everything in one place. From launching wellness challenges to tracking employee progress, this all-in-one hub helps you manage, monitor, and motivate your team toward healthier habits. Easy to use, powerful to lead. Introducing My Health Cup AI, your personal AI fitness coach, designed to help you move smarter, feel stronger, and live healthier. Your fitness journey kicks off with 4 simple exercises. Butterfly sit-ups, jumping jack, squat, and push-ups. Tells us just what your body needs. Ready to begin? First, let's check your audio.
This is medicine. Leave healthier, leave stronger, leave longer. Put your phone on the floor against the wall. Body frame now. Stand still.
Hello, good morning, and thank you all for joining. Let's give ourselves 2 minutes more of waiting time for the rest of the participants to join. Let's enjoy the videos being played on our screens. Thank you.
Lift your knee to your elbow.
Once you're done, your instant assessment results show exactly where you stand, but we don't stop at numbers. My Health Cop takes your performance across all 4 exercises and transforms that data into progress. Using smart analysis, we build a customized fitness program just for you, targeting your weaknesses, enhancing your strengths, and adapting as you grow. It's fitness that fits you. Now it's game time. Compete with others, climb the leaderboard, and win exciting prizes by crushing challenges. Stay motivated, stay accountable, stay winning. HR, we've got something for you too. The HR dashboard puts everything in one place. From launching wellness challenges to tracking employee progress, this all-in-one hub helps you manage, monitor, and motivate your team toward healthier habits. Easy to use, powerful to lead. Introducing My Health Cop AI, your personal AI fitness coach, designed to help you move smarter, feel stronger, and live healthier. Your fitness journey kicks off with 4 simple exercises. Butterfly sit-ups, jumping jack, squat, and push-ups. Tells us just what your body needs. Ready to begin? First, let's check your audio.
Exercise. Medicine. Healthier, leave stronger, leave longer. Put your phone on the floor against the wall.
Okay, good morning once again, and welcome to the 9th edition of the 2025 webinar series powered by My Health Corp. Kindly confirm if I'm audible enough. Okay, thank you very much. Without wasting much time, let's quickly get into today's agenda. Our first item on today's agenda is the introduction of the My Health Corp ecosystem, which will be done by my colleague Philemon Sarpong. Then our main topic for today, men's mental health matters. Then just after the presentation, we open the floor for questions and answers. Then we demo our AI, our new innovation in the market to everyone here. So stick and stay with me as I introduce to you my colleague Philemon Sarpong, who is the lead for client services and admin here in My Health Corp. Good morning, Philemon, and welcome.
Hi, good morning, Adumante. Please confirm if I am audible enough.
Yes, Philemon, you are.
Okay, so good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for joining today's webinar. So I'll go very fast into the introduction of the My Health Corp ecosystem, right? So My Health Corp is basically your one-stop shop for wellness, right? We basically believe that preventive healthcare is medicine. So what is the problem, or what is the problem we are trying to resolve, right? So currently, there's an alarming rate of non-communicable diseases, right? Which is mainly driven by unhealthy diets and then physical inactivity. And as you can see on my screen, it happens to individuals, right? So it has huge implication as far as individuals are concerned, but for corporate entities as well, it has huge implications for corporate entities too. As you can see, we can talk about high rising costs for companies. We talk about loss in productivity for companies, and then we also touch on challenges with retention. We have the metrics here for individuals that are obese and that eat a lot of junk foods and all of that. Now, what is our solution as My Health Corp to this particular program? So My Health Corp, we have an entire ecosystem, right, designed to resolve this particular I mentioned, which is non-communicable diseases. We believe that preventive healthcare is medicine. So in our ecosystem, at the heart of our ecosystem, as you can see, we have preventive healthcare is medicine. Now, the ecosystem begins with an institute, right, which is the Institute of Wellness and Exercise Science. Now, what is the idea of this institute? The Institute of Wellness and Exercise Science is basically an institute, the first CTVET accredited institute in Ghana to give certification to professionals that are not certified, mainly personal sports and fitness trainers. Now, for those that are certified, we train them to be entrepreneurs, right? Now, when you are done getting your certification or getting the training from iOS, let's look at how we give these professionals job or how we give them the platform to be able to sell their services. Now, just think of the idea or the Uber system, right? So we have what we call the My Health Corp Pro app, and then we have the My Health Corp app. Now, as a professional, when you are certified, you just have to download the My Health Corp Pro app, which is available on Play Store or App Store. You can have access to it. You download it, you go through what we call the onboarding process, or you register yourself as a professional. And then on the other hand, just like both, on the other hand, as a client, you are able to book for the services of these professionals, which is the My Health Corp app, right? You are able to book for these professionals. Now, on the My Health Corp app, we have a lot of other features as well. As Manti mentioned, we have a current innovation in the market, which is the AI fitness trainer. It also help you track your BMI, you're able to do self-assessment, and more other freemium features that we have on the My Health Corp app. Now, we have another ecosystem, which is the My Health Corp. So My Health Corp, basically, My Health Corp solution for companies, right? Where we put together wellness activities for companies, recurring activities for companies. We do team bonding activities for companies. We do health talks for companies and a lot more basically for companies. So we put together a yearly wellness schedule for companies, to reverse non-communicable diseases to reverse any trend that we have in the company. And then we have our last ecosystem, which is the My Health Corp Foundation. The idea of the foundation is we believe that not everyone in Ghana would be able to afford these services. And so a percentage of any business or any booking on these platforms that I mentioned goes to the My Health Corp Foundation. And then we do lots of social activities, we do beach cleanups. Today's webinar is actually powered by the My Health Corp Foundation to help those that will not be able to, ordinarily book for these services. Now, we are powering the entire ecosystem with AI, right? So, now AI is taking over everywhere. And so we are empowering the ecosystem with AI. We have our first AI solution in the market, which is the AI-powered fitness trainer, which is basically a personal trainer that you have on your phone that will help you train and be sure that you are doing the right thing, wherever you are, whenever you want. You are also able to track your health data with the My Health Corp AI. You're able to see the reps you are doing for each exercise. You're able to see the calories you are burning. You're able to see the accuracy. And then if you make some mistakes, the AI is actually able to point out some of the mistakes you made, right? Now, let's look at how we are able to link the My Health Corp app for corporate entities. Now, for companies, right, we have a solution, which is the corporate wellness dashboard. So basically, a management dashboard for employee well-being. So we give a dashboard where you're able to collectively track the data of these in terms of chronic, if they have chronic diseases, you're able to see their wellness goals. So basically, when they are onboarding on the My Health Corp app, the information we pick from the My Health Corp app, we give it as a collective data for the HR to be able to make informed decisions as far as employee wellness is concerned. So without wasting much time, thank you very much, Adamante, for the platform, and then enjoy the rest of the session.
Thank you very much, Philemon, for that brief introduction of the My Health Corp ecosystem. Without wasting much time, we'll get quickly into today's agenda, our main agenda for today, which is men's mental health matters. And it will be done by Ewenam Kumoji, who is the Pastoral Care and Safeguarding Officer at Right to Dream Ghana. With a background in clinical psychology, Ewenam Kumoji is dedicated to fostering safe, supportive, and inclusive environment for young people. In her role as a Pastoral Care and Safeguarding Officer at Right to Dream Ghana, she works to promote students' well-being, protect vulnerable individuals, and guide holistic personal development. Passionate about mental health advocacy, Ewenam champions awareness, resilience, and access to care, ensuring that individuals are empowered to thrive both professionally and personally. Hello, Ewenam. If you can hear me, you are welcome. And thank you for joining.
Hello, Adamante. Thank you.
Kindly take us through today's topic, men's mental health matters.
Okay, thank you very much for your introduction. So today we'll be talking about mental health, and to start with that, I'd like to share a quote, and then we'll delve into what mental health is. We'll look at some of the risk factors for men, and then we'll look at prostate cancer and how it can impact mental health. We'll also look at the barriers to help seeking. So what are the things that prevent men from seeking help? And then lastly, we'll look at stigmatization and how to care for ourselves. Next slide, please. So while preparing for the presentation, I came by this quote, which says that the mind always beats muscle. And it's a very important quote, especially because usually men are expected in our society to be strong, both physically and mentally. However, if the mind suffers, if the mind of the man suffers, it would crumble. And so it's important that we uphold our minds in like the healthiest possible state. And so today we'll be talking about our mental health, men's mental health, more specifically since it's Men's Month and prostate cancer. Next slide, please. So before that, I'd like to ask, what are your understandings of mental health? Would anyone like to share what they understand by mental health? You can raise your hand or you can put it in the chat box and I'll read it out from there. Is there anyone who'd like to share? Okay, I see that Kweku Ach has raised a hand. Please share with us, Kweku. Hi,
Hello.
Kweku, can you hear me? Yes.
Hello, Ewenam. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I would add that it is to do with the state of mind, like how you feel in yourself, but very much related to your state of mind.
Okay, thank you. Kweku. Is there anyone else who'd like to share? Okay, I'll just continue. So mental health is a very broad term. I like to say that mental health is life itself because mental health affects physical, emotional, social, and psychological well-being. So every aspect of our lives has to do with mental health. So even WHO's definition for mental health is that it is a state of mental well-being that enables the individual to cope with the stresses of life, to realize their abilities, to learn well, to work effectively, and to contribute to their communities. Now, all of these things are in different aspects of our lives, but basically, if the individual is able to live up to their optimum expectation, then they have some good amount of mental well-being. So mental well-being has to do with every aspect of the individual's life. And then the core elements of mental health, these are thoughts, emotions, and behavior. So when we break down mental health to its components, we are focusing on the individual's thoughts. How does the individual think? And how does that affect the individual? What are the emotions that the individual expresses? And what are the behaviors that they show? Now, these three things are also very connected. And so thoughts affect emotions and behavior. Emotions affect behavior and thoughts. Behavior affects emotions and thoughts. So it's in every direction. So it's not one directional. It's not thoughts to emotions to behavior. It's in all possible directions that you can think about. It could affect it in any way. So, for example, if someone is afraid of snakes and thinks that snakes are harmful, if the person sees a snake, the person will become afraid. And the person is afraid because there's a thought that snakes are harmful. And after that, the person will show a certain behavior. So if the person runs away, the person is running for their life. That's because that thought that the snake is harmful has triggered the individual into a survival mode. So they are going to run away to try to preserve their lives. So that's how these three things are connected. And it could be in any direction. The thoughts could come first, the emotions could come first, or the behavior could come first. And when we talk about mental well-being, it's on a very broad spectrum. It's like marking something over 100%. So there could be someone who gets 98%. There could be someone who gets 11%. There could be someone who has 50%. And just like that, mental health could also be a lot of different things for people. So poor mental health could be different things. For somebody, it could be a bad temper problem. Every time the person is angry, the person can't control themselves. That is one of the things that would indicate that maybe there's an issue with the person's mental health. There could be someone who is very shy, and because of that, maybe they are struggling with self-esteem issues. That could also be a mental health issue. I mean, that's not very bad. Then there's also these cases where it can be extremely bad. So then they could have mental health disorders, from mild to major and severe disorders as well. So then now let's talk about some of the common mental health disorders that we know. Okay, so first I have depression here, and depression is majorly characterized by sadness. So depression and bipolar are both mood disorders. And so they have to do with the individual's emotions. And so when someone has depression, they experience excessive sadness and other symptoms that cripples them. So they are not able to function normally because of the amount of sadness that they experience. Depression is part of bipolar, but in bipolar, the individual experiences alternating phases of depression and mania. So mania is excessive happiness. So when an individual has a manic episode, it would be that the individual is very happy, and it also affects the individual negatively. So someone having a manic episode, because they are very happy, they feel very confident. They believe that they can do anything. So someone having a manic episode can stand on a 4-story building and tell you that if they jump down, nothing will happen to them. They will land safely. But we all know that that's not what will happen. So that is the problem with manic episodes. The excitement is so much. There's a lot of happiness. And because of that, the individual doesn't behave, in quotes, normally. So in a manic episode, it's excessive happiness. And in a depressive episode, it's excessive sadness. So bipolar is like a combination of the two, where the person alternates between phases of depression and mania throughout their lifetime. And this can also be managed. Then there's also anxiety disorders. Anxiety disorders also come with phobias because anxiety and phobias have to do with worry and fear. So excessive worry and excessive fear. So with anxiety disorders, there are lots of different ones. There's generalized anxiety disorder, which has to do with the individual consistently being worried about different things in their life. So they're not worried or afraid about one thing. They have several things that keeps them worried all the time. And because of that, they experience a lot of anxiety. And then there's a lot of different, some of them are very specific. So we have anxiety because of public speaking. And we have anxieties that come from stepping outside of people's homes. So there are lots of different ones. And when we look at the phobias too, there's fear of heights, that people who are afraid of blood, afraid of being injured. And all of these would fall under anxiety disorders. Then there's also schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is what we would commonly refer to as madness. So with schizophrenia, the individual experiences an altered reality. So they have hallucinations, they have delusions, and because of that, they are not able to function normally. So the person may feel like they are hearing voices. Individuals with schizophrenia are the ones we mostly see on the road, and they are not dressed well, they seem dirty, they seem to be talking to somebody. Most of them have schizophrenia, and so they are not mad people. They are people who actually have a mental condition. Then there's also drug and substance addictions. So with drug and substance addictions, this is where individuals are taking certain substances or drugs such as alcohol, weed, cocaine, and all of these things would ultimately begin to affect the individual's life. So first it will affect their body, in that the substances that they are taking in are having certain effects on their bodies, and it's changing the way the body should work naturally. And then eventually it comes out to affect other things. So people who have addictions, they usually would, you tell that they are having a lot of bad relationships. They are destroying relationships with families, with friends. Some may lose their jobs. They may begin to experience financial instability because they get to a point where the addiction becomes very fixated and they need to find every resource to feed the addiction. And so then from that, they may move on to doing engaging in some vices like stealing and all kinds of petty vices to survive and to maintain that high that the substance or the drug gives them. And then lastly, there's also suicide. So with suicide, this has to do with the individual killing themselves as a means of escape. So with suicide, they are not just killing themselves for any reason, but then they find that they are in a particular situation where the only way they see themselves escaping the situation is by killing themselves. So in depression, that's what happens. They are depressed for a very long time. They are not able to find any way out except that they are dead. So that's how suicide comes about. And with suicide, it's more common among men. More men die out of suicide than women do. So now, if we look at the mental health of men, it's very different from how women would experience mental health. So with men, first of all, they most likely might go underdiagnosed with certain conditions, such as depression, because their symptoms may not look typical. So because of that, people may not be able to recognize when a man has depression or anxiety because their symptoms don't look like the typical symptoms, and so they may be underdiagnosed. Then in Ghana, there's research that has shown that drug addiction, schizophrenia, and suicide mortality more among men than among women. So with suicide mortality, the reason why it's more men die from suicide than men do is because they are most likely to not seek help for whatever reason it is. And then when men find themselves in a state where they start contemplating suicide and they plan to act on it, they are most likely to use more lethal means. So they are most likely to die out of the suicide than most women would do. Also, I talked about the symptoms. So men may not always experience the typical symptoms that we would expect in mental health. So for example, in depression, whereas women would show the typical symptoms, they have a lot of crying, they would say that they are sad a lot of the time. They talk about guilt. Men may experience more of anger. They may experience a lot of irritability. So they are not necessarily sad, but then they are consistently irritated by little things that maybe normally would not irritate them. Then they will also enter a phase of risk taking. So then they begin to take certain risks that they normally wouldn't take. And then there's also the physical complaints. Men will most likely somatize. So they'll complain about stomach pain, headache, backaches, rather than being able to tell that they have depression. That's one of the reasons why depression would go underdiagnosed in men, because their symptoms don't seem typical. So that's another way in which mental health can be very different for men. Another thing is help seeking. Men will not typically seek help when they experience this thing. So that is why substance uses and drug addictions are more common in men. Because society expects men to be stronger, they would most likely find another way to deal with their problem. So it's easier for them to drink alcohol, take a cigarette stick, or find a drug that helps them to numb the feelings that they are having. And then outwardly, they can still appear strong and well for the society. Meanwhile, they are struggling. So all of these reasons are the things that make mental health a bit different when it comes to men. And that's why talking about men's mental health is very important. Trying to look strong and being brave all the time is not necessarily what men need. They need to be able to open up and actually speak up about the things that bother them. So now we'll look at some of the risk factors for mental health disorders, especially in men. So one is genetics. For genetics, I think it's fair for both men and women. Men are most likely to also experience mental health disorder because there's a family history or because of certain genetic tendencies, and it's the same for women. However, when it comes to job loss, financial instability, and poor performance, whether it's at a job or sexually or academically, men are at a higher risk of experiencing mental health disorder. And this is because for men, they are supposed to be the breadwinners of their families. They are supposed to be the providers in their families. So this puts them in a state where when any of these things struggle, they begin to experience a lot of mental difficulties. So I'll give an example with one of my clients. I had a client who I was seeing maybe about 2 years ago, and he was experiencing a lot of anxiety. His anxiety was mainly because he was worried that he was not financially stable enough. However, this gentleman that I was talking about, he was not broke in layman's terms. He was not broke. He had money. He could take care of himself. He could take care of his sister. So he had just about enough money to take him for about a year. But he was still very anxious because he was always worried that maybe the money might not be enough, or it might run out, or his business might go down and then he'll never have money. So he was experiencing a lot of anxiety because of that. That's just how men see it. It's because of the pressure that they have on them. And so trying to relieve that pressure is not so easy. So if there's any financial instability or there's job loss, or they feel like they're not performing well in their workplaces, they are most likely to trigger a mental health problem because of the expectation on them. And there's also drug and substance use among men, which is a risk factor for them to develop mental health conditions. So I mentioned earlier that for men, it's easier for them to try and be strong. And because of that, they'll try to hide behind drugs and all of these things. And so rather than them to come out and say that this is what they are struggling with, it will be better for them to take something else. That's how they feel. That's how they are able to analyze it. They are worried about society's judgment and not being able to live up to the expectation of society. So drug use is also a major risk factor for men. Another one is grief or loss. So with grief or loss, men do not always make time to grieve, or sometimes they try to make time to grieve, but they do not grieve properly. And I say this because, for example, if you go for any funeral, you'd realize that among the bereaved, the men may not necessarily be crying. Rather, they are the ones holding the women who are crying. They're the ones trying to comfort the women. However, these men are equally bereaved. They've lost their father and mother. They've lost some relatives, someone who is dear to them, and they are also bereaved just as equally as the women are bereaved. However, most of them would not express any kind of sadness. So men, when they lose someone that is important to them, or when they lose anything that is dear to them, they would struggle, especially with grief, because society does not expect men to even cry. So in Ghana, it's very common for us to hear that, oh, bear men, so clean your face and brave up and move on. So with grief, men become more likely to experience mental health issues because of grief for these reasons. Then there's also abuse and neglect. So with abuse and neglect, it could be a childhood abuse, it could be childhood neglect, it could be any of these things that tend to create trauma for the individual. And usually, if trauma is not attended to, what happens is that the individual will begin to trigger certain trauma responses, which will alter their personality. So, if an individual goes through a traumatic experience, but they do not show it, the possibility that they are beginning to develop certain personality traits to help them manage their trauma is high. Some of these personality traits will be masking it. So they always look happy. They try to look like they are okay, even though they know that they are dealing with something. So they mask it. They might also repress the emotion or the event. So then they don't show that they are experiencing anything. And then another one is denial, completely denying that the situation even happened. And men are more likely to develop these personality traits, again, because of the burden that they have on them to be men, to be the stronger gender, to be the people who protect and who provide rather. So then abuse and neglect for men could significantly lead to a lot of mental health disorders later in their lives, because they would have developed certain personality tendencies that would not benefit their mental health in the long run. And then there's also physical illness. So with physical illness, I talked about mental health being all encompassing. So it talks about your physical health as well. And so once there's a problem with physical illness, it could easily cripple the individual. And when you look at physical illness for men, research has shown that testosterone begins to dip from midlife. And not just testosterone, but also if they are diagnosed with any chronic condition, testosterone may begin to dip through. That may begin to cause certain issues for men's mental health as well. So these are some of the risk factors that affect men when it comes to mental health. So these things make them more likely to develop mental health condition than others. So now let's look at prostate cancer. Since we are still talking about physical health, let's look at prostate cancer and how it can affect the individual. So prostate cancer. So we know that cancers are a group of conditions that cancers are a group of conditions that have to do with the abnormal growth of cells in the body. Abnormal and uncontrolled growth. And so there are different cancers. Now, the last research I checked on cancer, which was about a year ago, it found out that 24,000 new cases are recorded in Ghana annually for cancer treatment. And also, prostate cancer is the highest recorded among men. And since it's prostate cancer month, we want to talk more about prostate cancer and how it can affect men. So a diagnosis of prostate cancer would increase the risk of an individual developing or experiencing a mental health issue. And how can this happen? So let's take anxiety. Anxiety could develop because the individual is worried first about even breaking the news to their family. If a man is diagnosed with prostate cancer, we all know that cancer can be terminal. So it cannot be fully cured, and it could mean that the individual may die with a particular period. It depends on the state at which the cancer is diagnosed, but it means that the individual who is the breadwinner for his family would now be worried. This man is worried who is going to take care of his family? Does he have enough to cater for the family if he's not around? So then there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of anxiety symptoms that the individual may begin to experience. Also, breaking the news is not easy for men, to break the news that they have a mental health disorder, because sometimes just breaking the news that you have been diagnosed with prostate cancer, it's almost like saying that you cannot perform certain things that you used to. That is how sometimes it feels. And so it's difficult for them to break the news to the individuals. And also we know that with prostate cancer, the prostate is part of the male reproduction organ. And so there's also a lot of worrying issues about their sexual performance and their sexual health. And so that could also be a reason why someone could develop anxiety after being diagnosed with prostate cancer. Then there's also depression. Depression could come about, one, because maybe the individual is feeling guilty or some self-blame. Because if the man thinks that his lifestyle is what led to the diagnosis of prostate cancer, then it feels like it's their fault that they have the condition. And so because of that, they may begin to develop certain symptoms for depression. Apart from that, too, there's also the worry about changing lifestyle. Usually when you are diagnosed with a chronic condition, it means that the individual has to begin to make certain drastic changes in their lifestyle. So then they can't eat certain things, they can't do certain things like they used to. They have to adhere to a particular treatment regimen. And all of these changes could be a burden for the man. And so having to change his lifestyle is not so easy. And that could also lead to the individual experiencing certain symptoms of depression. There's also withdrawal and lower self-esteem, because the diagnosis of prostate cancer means that the man now has to depend on somebody for some sort of support. Yes, so if the man needs to depend on his family, say after a chemotherapy session, he has to depend on his family because he'll be experiencing side effects and would need someone to be around to support him, all of these things. So they may begin to withdraw, they may begin to feel a little less of themselves because of the treatment process even. And so all of these are ways in which an individual can experience mental health issues after being diagnosed with prostate cancer. And then also, generally, we know in the literature that mental health issues would increase once there's a lot of stress. So if an individual has ever been diagnosed with a mental health condition, if they experience extreme stress, then they are likely to relapse into their mental health condition because of the stress that they're experiencing. And so with the diagnosis of prostate cancer, the individual could experience that as well. Because if the individual has had an issue before, being diagnosed with prostate cancer will come with some amount of stress. If not for anything, will come with a lot of worry about how to change their lifestyle, about how to support their families. And so all of these could predispose the individual to have another episode of their mental health disorder, which will then make them more vulnerable to mental health issues. So when it comes to prostate cancer, individuals would need complete health. Like the treatment and support that an individual with cancer needs should be holistic. They should have a medical doctor, they should have people who know about cancer, they should have a psychologist, a dietitian on board, maybe a physiotherapist even, because they would need a lot of support to be able to manage the disease and improve their lives and even survive for longer after the diagnosis of prostate cancer. However, this may not be the case for men because help seeking is reduced when it comes to men. So what are some of the things that can reduce men, that can stop men from seeking help when they are diagnosed with issues? Okay, so mainly when it comes to barriers for help seeking in men, it's mostly just the cultural definitions of masculinity. There's a lot of pressure on men to be strong, to be the ones in control, and sometimes even anger is seen as a more masculine emotion. And again, in cultural parlance, we say that men don't cry. And so because of that, men are always under some form of pressure to not show it when they are weak or to not show it when they are struggling. I'd like to open the phone line so that anyone can share any experiences that they've had, men or even women, maybe something you've heard about that was something that you know could stop a man from seeking help because there are certain statements that were made about masculinity. So an example is the bare men. So if anyone has any experience they'd like to share, I'll take a break and listen for some of these experiences. So please, you can raise your hand and share your experience with us. What are some of the barriers to seeking help for men? So the popular example is bare men, so men don't cry. And so because of that, men would really cry. Which ones have you heard of that you know could also be a barrier because it speaks to male masculinity? And because of that, they have to be strong and cover up. Does anybody want to share an experience or something they've heard of or a story? Okay, David, Jim, please share with us.
Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you for your submission. It was very insightful. So, for me personally, if I have a mental problem, something that is stressing me out, and I try to discuss with someone, sometimes the feedback I get rather even lead to more stress. Like it boosts my ego and it stresses me more. So normally when it happens like that, I try to internalize it and just keep it to myself.
Okay. Thank you, David. Can you tell us, maybe was there something that was said, something you remember was said, or that made you feel that way, that it was more stressful to share?
Like for instance, maybe my financial instability, trying to talk to someone that now things are bad and all those things. You just need someone to listen to you, but they'll just end up telling you that, but why not doing this? Why not doing this? You understand? And sometimes you sit back and tell yourself, yeah, I should have done this, I should have done that. And thinking about it, the more you think about it, stress you more. Yeah, basically.
Thank you very much, David. Okay, so then there's a lot of criticism from the society. So rather than people supporting you and saying that, oh, is that so? They are rather asking you why you are not doing more to help yourself. Okay, that's very significant. Thank you very much, David. Is there anybody else who'd like to share? I could take one more and then I'll continue. Kweku Arch, have you raised your hand? I hope I'm mentioning your name right still.
Yes, you are, Awonam. You're doing well.
Thank you.
I think it's also can come with the job. I'm involved in a lot of coaching and supporting people. So if I need support, sometimes someone will say that, oh, are you supposed to be the coach? Why are you not having the answers? So, I had a challenge at the beginning of this year on a professional job outside in the UK, and it was really tough. And people were really judgmental around, how come you're not coaching? You're coping. You're supposed to be the coach. And so it was embarrassing. So I didn't feel like I wanted to share more.
Okay. Thank you very much. So then there's also embarrassment that comes with sharing your experience, because people expect that you are the one that they come to and not you coming to them for support. Thank you very much. Kweku and David, I'll come back to you towards the end so we can talk about certain things that you did to help. So I'll come back to the two of you with your experiences. Thank you very much for sharing. So I'd like to talk about stigma next. So the stigma that men face. So basically, what is stigma? Now, stigma is any negative attitude or belief that is based on a trait or an illness or maybe the individual's race. And what stigma does is that usually whatever is being stigmatized is seen as something shameful. So it's like a mark of shame on the individual. And that leads to other people discriminating against the individual. So, for example, if we are talking about prostate cancer, if an individual shares that they have prostate cancer, then people are looking at the person funny. They are judging the person because the person has prostate cancer, and how can a man develop prostate cancer? Will this man be able to perform in bed? So that is what stigma looks like. And stigma can be internal and external. So internal stigma is usually self-stigma. And so as we talk about stigma, we have to be very aware of how we ourselves think about these things. So sometimes the person that is being stigmatized is the one stigmatizing themselves. Maybe society hasn't actually stigmatized them, but they themselves believe that what they are going through is shameful. What they are going through is embarrassing. And because of that, they would not come out to seek help. They won't call for help because they are worried that people will judge them. Meanwhile, they are the ones judging themselves. And then stigma is external when it comes from other people. So then when people are the ones judging you and people are making you feel like you are not doing enough, you are not strong enough, then that's external stigma. So stigma can go both ways. It can come from the individual experiencing the situation, or it can come from outside. And stigma can be expressed in a lot of different ways. So when it comes to the expression of stigma, it could be something that is said. It could be in a joke. It could also be an individual just isolating themselves because they feel that what they are going through is shameful. So that is how stigma would present. And when stigma persists for a long of time, it has a lot of different consequences. So someone who is experiencing a lot of stigma might have worsened health, either the prostate cancer or even a mental health condition. And the reason why their health would worsen is because they might not actually seek help. So also Kolebu's reports on prostate cancer, I realized that they've said that most men seek help when it's too late. So by the time they diagnose the prostate cancer for the man, most of the time the cancer is in its later stages. So there's very little that the hospital can do, the medical staff can do to actually help them. So stigma actually stops people from seeking help. And then another thing that stigma does is that it doesn't keep them on their treatment. So someone who is feeling or experiencing stigma would not be able to stick to their treatments that they have, because sometimes the treatment would involve not doing certain things that they are used to doing. Sometimes the treatment would involve doing something new that may feel uncomfortable. And so because of the stigma, they may not do these things. And so they are not adhering to their treatment as they should. And because of that, then they would experience worsened health. Also in the family situation, there's also the possibility of increased emotional burden and also a breakdown in communication. So that is when people are not being able to speak up. The person who is experiencing the condition, he cannot speak up about the situation. And the people in the family can also ask, are you okay? Are we doing the right things to support you? Because everybody is feeling like this thing is a shameful thing, and we shouldn't even have to talk about it in the first place. So that's how stigma affects mental health. It's a very negative thing. So what are some of the things that we should do to reduce stigma? One is awareness and education. Talk more about mental health, talk more about prostate cancer. The more we talk about these things, the more people are informed. If a man has a mental health breakdown, it's not because his destiny has been sold. It's not a spiritual problem. It's something that happens to people. It happens to men as well. And so if people have this understanding, it's easier for them to open up and talk about this because they're not afraid of how people will think about it. Also, sharing your experiences. If you go through a difficult situation and you are able to share it, that's usually one of the biggest signs of healing, because most people are not able to share their own experiences when it comes to things that can be stigmatized. And that's the thing with the Me Too movement. If people are able to speak up, if one person can come out and say, oh, I suffered depression and this is what I went through and this is what I did, and I saw a psychologist and he was actually able to help. Or, I started experiencing certain symptoms. And so I went to the doctor and I found out that I had prostate cancer. And then this is what was done for me because I went in at a good time. The more people share these experiences, the more other people are comforted, because then they know that they are not alone. They're not the only ones experiencing these things. So then they can also come out and also talk about what is happening to them openly. And that helps them. And then lastly, also supporting others with empathy and not judgment. So when people share their stories with us, we should be very mindful, especially of the comments, because most of the time, stigma is experienced from things that people see. It's just the little mindless jokes that are made about certain things. And so we should be very mindful when someone shares their experience. We should be rather be empathetic towards them and not judgmental, and not pointing fingers at them and maybe even blaming them for their situation. And lastly, it's important to remember, especially as men, that the true sign of strength is to be able to admit that you do not have it all. You don't have all the resources to support yourself. And so seeking help is showing that you are also strong. And that's something that we are yet to learn well from the Western countries. I recently found out that seeking help is promoted so much in the Western countries that even in certain high schools, if you are struggling with a subject and you go and tell your teacher or someone and they give you the support, they would also give you extra credits in the course because you asked for help. And that's the thing. Right now, we are not yet at a place where we are encouraging people to seek help. We are not yet there. But then let's all remember that seeking help is a good thing. We shouldn't stigmatize people because they are seeing a psychologist, or stigmatize people because they are weaker, because now they have a certain condition. And so these are some of the ways that we can reduce stigma. And then lastly, I would like to talk about how to care for ourselves, especially as men. So before that, I would go back to David and Kweku. So you shared your experiences. So after you shared your experiences and you received the feedback, the judgmental feedback, the feedback that made it feel embarrassing, what did you do? How did you manage the situations and how did you overcome that? Kweku and JP, if you are still with us, can you share? Are you able to share with us?
Yeah, with me, when I received the feedback, as I said, I was a bit stressed about it for some time, but I have a way of just overcoming it by just distracting myself with either work or music or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, David. Kweku, are you there? Hello, Kweku. Are you still on the call? Can you share with us what you did? Okay.
Hello, Ewanam. Yes, I think it's actually something that I'm blessed. I do have a really supportive community. So in the incidents, I was quite isolated. I was in London. I wasn't with my community. But when I came back to Ghana, I was able to share the experience. And over time, that was really helpful to be able to have, conversations with people who really understand and make time. So yeah, so really sort of getting people who can really listen to me, and I can be very honest with them. That helped a lot.
All right, thank you very much. Yes. So then I'm thankful that at least some of the things that you did, they are already in my points. So what are things that men should do or men can do to improve their health and to take care of their mental health? So the first is the eating, rest, and exercise or movement factor. Now, these three things are actually very important because they are indicators of well-being. So even though we may not pay so much attention to eating and resting and exercise, there are actually three things that show a lot of well-being. If you are physically ill, it may affect your eating, it may affect your ability to rest, and it may affect your ability to move around freely. If you have a mental condition, it may affect the way you eat, your resting, and your movement as well. So these three things are very important. And men typically have the tendency to, want to work, and provide for their families to the extent that they do not get enough rest or they do not pay attention to what they are eating, and sometimes people are even comfortable enough, and if they can get a car, it's easier to just move about in your car, and so you're not even focusing on resting. These three things are very important. They are major indicators of health. If at any point in your life you actually feel stressed, check these three things. Sometimes if you're able to fix all these three things, all your stress could go away because you've resolved these three things. So they are very important. Eating a balanced diet, eating the right things, and also getting enough rest. For an adult, even up to 6 hours of rest is enough. And I would always advise that as an adult, also have a bedtime. When we give children bedtimes and then we do not give ourselves bedtimes because we are adults, we are robbing ourselves. It's okay for an adult to say that at 10 p.m., I check out. I don't do anything again and I go to bed. My day ends at 10 p.m. That's okay. And it helps because your mind, even in the most stressful situation, your mind knows that at exactly 10 p.m. it gets to rest. So it's not helpful when you sit in front of the television and you sleep off. Those things do not help. Rather, be intentional about resting. If you get home from work, you're tired, you've watched a little bit of television, you've eaten, you're ready to rest, you turn off the television and actually go into bed to sleep. This would actually help the mind a lot. And it helps with very stressful situations because your brain knows that it's trained to have something to rely on. And then also exercise. Movement is very important, not only for physical health, but also for mental health, because exercising releases a lot of good hormones. And these good hormones help us to feel good. And so if you can't exercise, maybe you can't jog, or you can't go for a walk every now and then, maybe your neighborhood is not safe enough, at least you can use the stairs at work. You can take a walk for lunch. So when it's lunchtime, rather than sitting in a car and then stopping somewhere and then sitting there to eat and then sitting back in your car to go to the office, you could just walk to wherever you are going to and go and eat. If you can't do any of those things, at least you can park your car at a distance from your workplace and then walk to work. All these little things are helpful. You can skip in your own home. Skipping doesn't require a lot of space. It doesn't require a lot of outward movement. So then you don't have to worry about safety. If you can skip in your house, that is enough exercise. Now, another thing is engaging in hobbies. So yes, I think it was David who shared that with time he was able to distract himself with the work, and he also distracted himself with music. Engaging in hobbies is very important. Research has shown that people who engage in hobbies often would report their lives to be more happy and more fulfilled than people who do not engage in hobbies. And hobbies are not for children. Hobbies are for everyone. So if you have an activity that you love and you enjoy doing, if it's reading, music, dancing, Find time to do these things in the day. If you like listening to music, you can play music while you get ready for work. You can play music during lunchtime. You can play music before you go to bed. This would actually improve your mental well-being. If you like cooking, if you like dancing, make time to do these activities because they improve your life, they improve the quality of your life. Then also for men, expressing emotions is very important. So yes, men are most likely to express more anger than any other emotion. However, it's important that you express all your other emotions just as well as you express your anger. So if you feel sad and you need a moment, take a moment to actually feel sad. If you feel the need to cry, get the space that you need to and cry. It's okay for men to cry. There's nothing wrong. If there was something wrong with men crying, God wouldn't have also given them the same tear ducts that women have. Crying is a normal expression of emotion, and it's okay for men to experience these emotions and express them. So instead of men to always suppress their emotions, try more to share your emotions. Then also positive self-talk. Practice positive self-talk and self-compassion. These two things, they go hand in hand and they are very important. Now, positive self-talk, basically, every individual has a voice, their own voice in their head that speaks to them. So that voice of yourself, practice making that voice speak positivity and not negativity. Even the Bible says that as a man believes in his heart, that is who he is. So if you are always saying negative things to yourself, then that is who you are going to be. So practice saying positive things to yourself. That voice of yourself should not always be berating and embarrassing you. It should be praising you. It should be saying positive things. And when it comes to practicing self-compassion, remember that you are also just a human being, like every other human being. Human beings go through things. Human beings experience weakness at some point in their lives. Human beings make mistakes. So it's okay to encourage yourself. Don't always beat up yourself because you've made one mistake. Every human being has made a mistake before. You are not the first. You're not going to be the last. So be compassionate towards yourself. Be kind to yourself. It's important. If you go out and everybody is unkind to you, at least you should be kind to yourself so that you are able to protect your mental well-being. And then talking to someone. So Kweku Arch is the one who has a very supportive community. Find your own support. I realized that for men, you people can sit together and you can talk and have fun and eat and watch matches and argue. And every man can get up from that table with the same burdens that they came to that table with. Find someone you can trust. Find a trusted group of men that you can openly talk about your struggles. You can openly talk about your difficulties, and you can also openly encourage each other. You can find that safe space that is filled with men that support themselves. It's very important. So don't always just keep things in your chest and not speak up. Try and speak up and let people know the things that you are going through and get the support that you need from the people that you can get it from. And lastly, seek professional help if you need to. If you've done everything you know how to do and you're still struggling, it's okay to see a professional. And if you are talking to a friend who is consistently supporting you, so you think that maybe that's the person that would help you and it's not working, seek actual professional help, because people can be kind and people are nice and people can be very supportive. However, if they do not have the skills and the know-how to actually support you with what you are going through, then there's no point. So if you are struggling and you need to seek professional help, it doesn't make you any weaker than any other person. Seek the help. It actually makes you a more strong person. So thank you very much. I'll end here and I'll take any questions that we have.
Thank you very much, Ewenam Kumoji. That was very powerful, insightful, and educative. My best coping mechanism is engaging in hobby, particularly cooking. So I love cooking a lot. So thank you very much. You open the floor for questions and answers. You can either drop your question in the chat box or you can raise your hands. I'll mention your name, then you can proceed. Thank you. So who is opening the floor for us? Lloyd, please, you can unmute yourself and talk. Lloyd Young.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm here in the UK. I work with one of the leading prostate cancer UK charities in the UK. One of the questions or one of the observations I have in supporting men through prostate cancer, and I wonder if it was touched upon, which is navigating intimacy. We often think as men that intimate relationship is the physical aspect. We often don't talk about the emotions and what comes with intimacy and navigating impotency alongside what other resources or other support can men access to understand that it's not just the physical act in a relationship. And the second part of relationship is, if we don't talk about what's been said about our feelings, it could lead to some form of abuse and violence that takes place in a relationship that is often unreported by men. Given we talked about masculinity, we're also going to talk about the effect of anger, and anger can lead to a breakdown in relationship. It can lead to physical, emotional harm, and this stems from lack of understanding of navigating intimacy, intimate relationship, sex, if we can call it what it is.
Thank you, Lloyd. But what is your question, or is it a suggestion?
It's a suggestion. The question relies on did we speak about it throughout I jumped on late. Did we consider, and is there anything we can talk about around intimacy, navigating what it is to have a relationship and live with prostate cancer?
Okay. Thank you very much. That's actually a very splendid suggestion, because I did talk about the fact that men would begin to struggle sexually once they are diagnosed with prostate cancer. And so those are some of the things that would predispose them to mental health disorder. So I'm not sure, even in Ghana, the amount of support that we have for them to be able to navigate intimacy and their sexuality as well. But yes, that's something that I'll definitely look into. Thank you very much, Lloyd.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? The floor is still open. You can as well drop your questions or suggestions in the chat box, and I would read them out. If there are no more questions, then we would end here with our presentation. Thank you, Ewenam Afi Kumoji, for joining us today.
There's
Please,
okay, sure, Samuel.
Can we get the recording?
Yes, please. Yes.
The last time you organized something like that, I couldn't get the recording. This is the second time I'm joining you, so please.
Okay. But then, please, are you in the Wellness Force Consultancy page?
No, I'm with the ODUCCP.
Okay.
There is a lady, Auntie Mary Pencil, who invited us to join.
Okay. Kindly drop your number in the chat box.
Number.
Yes, please, in the chat box.
In the chat box.
Yes, please.
Some of us are born before BBC. So webinar, I don't know where I will drop my.
Okay,
Where
there, there is a comment symbol.
Can I give it to you off on
Okay, sure,
yeah.
sure.
0244
Okay,
7071
okay.
04
04. Okay,
0244 7071 04.
okay. Thank you,
Thank you
Samuel.
so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
I may want to have some questions personally with you. So if you get in touch with me, I will be able to do that. Thank you so much. Ewanam, thank
You're
you so
welcome,
much.
sir. I will.
God bless you.
You're welcome, someone.
Okay,
There's
I
in the
see.
chat box.
Yes, I was about reading it. So this is from Charles. Charles says, how do you describe Abena Koko's case? And is mental illness curable? And lastly, can you throw lights on men and prostate?
Okay.
I hope you know Abena Koko.
I do.
Okay.
Yes. So, well, yes, Abena Koko, I know, is diagnosed with bipolar. And so I wouldn't like to talk a lot about her, but I can say for a fact that most of the things that she's being criticized for, especially in the public domain, are all symptoms of her condition. So if you read more about bipolar, you'd find out that some of the symptoms of bipolar is what she's showing us. So it's not things that she's intentionally doing, but it's more about her condition. And mental illness, yes, is curable. In cases where it cannot be completely cured, it can be managed. So something like schizophrenia can be cured if the individual adheres to treatment, and also if the individual is I'm sorry. Yeah, so it can be cured if the individual adheres to treatment and if the individual takes the right medication. But it's curable if the individual can live on from that. Can I throw light on men and prostates? Okay, I think I'll leave that one for the medical professionals. But then if you get the recording, I talked about the impact of prostate cancer on mental health. So if you get the recording, you can follow up on that. Yes.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? I saw David Jamefi hands up a moment ago. David.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, but I think I got the answer from the previous lectures. So I wanted to ask, how do you deal with chronic anxieties, like the one that comes and goes? Like you find a way to deal with it, then later on you come back again. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Okay. So with chronic anxiety, I mean, once you experience an anxiety, a full-blown anxiety disorder, if you get therapy, and sometimes you may be able to get medication from a licensed psychiatrist to manage it. Once you have that, you may be able to live with it, because typically anxiety is something we all experience as an emotion. Experiencing anxiety, experiencing nervousness, we all experience it. But the disorder usually means that it impairs the individual, so they are not able to live their lives normally. So with therapy, you are helped, and then you are taught means by which you can navigate the things that cripple you, and then you are able to overcome them. So for the rest of your life, of course, once in a while you experience nervousness, you experience anxiety, but then therapy helps you to learn how to overcome it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Is there any more questions, or we can wrap it up with the AI demo? Okay. Thank you once again, Awenam Afi Kumoji. I mean, today I've learned a lot. So we welcome Philemon once again. He will take us through our new innovation in the market, which is the My Health Corp AI personal trainer. Philemon, if you can hear me, over to you.
Right. Thank you very much, Adumante. And I would like to say a very big thank you to Awenam. I think we need this most often, right? Because we normally don't talk about mental health when it comes to men. But then, you know, we are all equally the same. We are all humans. And so I believe we really need this. Now, as part of the healthy coping mechanisms for men, right? Awenam mentioned that physical activity or exercise is key, right? As part of the healthy coping mechanisms for men. Now, My Health Corp, I indicated earlier that we have an app, right? That is basically your wellness hub. So just see the app as your one-stop shop for wellness. So this is the My Health Corp app, as you can see my screen. You can download on either Play Store or App Store. It's available on the various stores. If you download it, you go through what we call an onboarding process where we put some key details about yourself, health details about yourself, your weight, your height. The app is able to calculate your BMI for you, as you can see. So I'm actually in a normal BMI range. And then you see the ideal BMI range you are supposed to be, right? As you can see. Now, we also ask a few details as well, like your wellness goals, you know, whether you have a chronic disease, your blood type, and all of that. Now, in this My Health Corp app, you are able to book for preventive healthcare professionals. I think when I'm indicated that it's important to seek for professional advice, right? Now, if you have an issue today and you want to book for LNM, right, as a professional, where do you go today in Ghana? Now, we are making that possible with the My Health Corp app. So if I hit on book consultation, I'm able to see professionals that I can actually book for. So dietitians, physical activity experts, wellness experts, medical professionals that you can actually book for their services, just like both, right? So I go to dietitians, I have a list of dietitians here that I can book, whether for virtual sessions or in-person sessions, right? Now, inside the My Health Corp app, like I said, when I'm indicated, as men, we need to be exercising, right? Which will mainly help with mental health. Now, inside the My Health Corp app, we built what we call an AI fitness trainer. So just imagine a personal trainer you have on your phone that is going to guide you, do any exercise that you want to do, but be sure that you are doing it right? That is the idea of the AI fitness trainer. So how does it work? Now, we believe that before you start doing any activity, physical activity, you need to understand your physical health. So we do what we call a fitness assessment with 4 exercises, as you can see. So you do butterfly sit-ups, which is mainly for your core. You do that jumping jacks, cardio, full body. You do squats, mainly for your lower body. You do push-ups for your upper body. Now, based on this, the AI will give you a report based on the number of reps that you do and all of that. We'll do a live demo for you to see how exactly it works. Now, based on that, you get a report like this, as you can see on my screen. So this is what I actually did today. This is my account. This is what I actually did today, which is 10th. So I did an assessment this morning. So as you can see, you get an overall score of the activity you did. Now you get this based on the reps you did for each of the exercises. So you can see that for jumping jacks, I did the reps I did. I did 90 reps, the calories I burnt, the time I spent, the errors that I did for jumping jacks. I'm able to click on the errors and see the errors I did. And then the accuracy. The same for push-ups, as you can see here for my upper body. The same for squats for my lower body. The same for butterfly sit-ups for my abs. Now, based on this report, right, as my assessment report, if I go back, now the AI is able to put together for me recommended programs based on the results from the assessment. So recommended programs, as you can see, with a weekly schedule. Inside the weekly schedule, I also have a daily schedule, right, which I can just follow based on the metrics from my health assessment. We also have what we call workout sessions, right? That you can do. So recommended programs are more long-term programs. And we have workout sessions, which are more like short-term programs that will work for you. Now we do what we call the gamification aspect that I spoke about for companies. Now for companies or for even all individual, we have a part of the app or the part of the AI, which we call challenges. Now in the challenges, we want to be able to gamify wellness or physical activity experience, right? So as men, we could, say we are doing, as a group of men, we are doing push-up challenge. So we want to see who can do the maximum number of reps for push-ups, maybe for this month, right? So that's basically what we do. We try to gamify physical activity or gamify wellness to make it much more fun for individuals. And we do the same for companies. So basically you have a challenge based on body parts. Let's say full body challenge. We have 5 exercises inside there where we have a leaderboard, as you can see on my screen. And then based on the number of reps you are doing, you see who is first, who is second, who is third, and all of that. So if it is company, we can gamify this by, giving rewards to employees that are actually doing well, good, and all of that. So that is the challenge part. So you can do body parts challenge, full body, abs, lower body, upper body, or you can also go ahead and do single exercise challenge, like I indicated earlier. I love to do push-ups. So let's say we can, we are 5, we are in a group, want to do a challenge on push-up, right? So we just select push-up challenge, and then we do that, and we see who is first, second, third, or that. Now, I would love to do a demo, right, for you to see what exactly I'm talking about, because I indicated that the AI will give you live coaching, right? It will guide you to do the exercise in the right way. So now let's look at the beauty of this AI fitness trainer. So I just set for the exercise I want to do, because we have a repository of 1,000+ exercises that you can actually work on, right? Which is very good for mental health. So I just hit on push-ups. So if I hit on push-up, this is what I get. I get a preview video of what the exercise is about to prepare me mentally for what I'm about to do, right? Now, if I scroll down, I get to see the body parts that I'm about to work on. So you can see that it indicated clear here that it's my upper body for push-ups. Now you can read about how it is done. You can read about some common mistakes you could do, and then some tips for you. So I just hit on start exercise. I just hit next. So this is how I'm supposed to position my phone, right, on the wall. So I hit next. So this is supposed to help me tilt my phone into 90 degrees. So let's see how it works. So I'll just place my phone, as you can see. So yeah, it says perfect. And then the AI will fetch. So it is fetching for the exercise. It is connecting to my phone's camera, because I will see myself when I'm doing the exercise. So as you can see, yeah. So it gives you personalized coaching. So before you begin the exercise, it captures your body. So this is a frame and a silhouette. So it captured, it has captured his body. So it's going to give him personalized coaching. Now you get a preview of the exercise you're about to do with a countdown for you to just rest for some few seconds, and then you can begin your exercise. Okay, so you can see, right? You see the silhouette. Now he will just be in the position, in the plank position. And then if he does it right, the AI will count the reps he's doing. So as you can see, it's counting the reps he's doing. It means that he's doing it right. You see the silhouette green. Right. So we have a lot of exercises, right? This is just an exercise that I chose. So the exercises are not vigorous or not difficult like push-ups. You have a lot more exercises on. We have in-office exercises that you can actually do. We have simple exercises that you can actually do wherever you are and then whenever you want. So let's see what happens after I'm done with my push-ups. So when I'm done, I get this. So I get a report on the exercise I did. Now, overall, he did 75% based on the number of reps he did, right? We have a score definition here that you can actually look out. The reps you're supposed to do, and then the percentage you get based on the reps. Now you can see the number of reps he did. You can see the calories he burned from the exercise he did. Now he did 3 errors. So if you click here, you see the 3 errors he did, right? So it says align body in a straight plank position. So it means that at the point he wasn't aligned well. So now it indicates that he did that 3 times. So subsequently, if you are doing the push-up, you have to do it well. And then we have the accuracy rate of the exercise he did, which is 99.27%. And then, there's a history here of all push-ups you've done. So you're able to track that over time. So this is the beauty of the My Health Corp AI fitness trainer. So like I indicated earlier, Ewenam indicated that as men, we are supposed to be exercising, and this will help us as far as mental health is concerned. Myself, this is one of the mechanisms that I use, right? So I exercise a lot. I also listen to music. So being part of the webinar today, we are open to giving you a free subscription, right? A 1-month free subscription, and then you can give it a try at home to see how it works. And then from there, you can make a decision. So all we need is, I think you all registered for the webinar, and so we'll have your email if you registered. If you did not register, I think I just sent my contacts in the chat. I'm doing it again. You can just reach out to me with your email, and then I give you 1 month free access to this amazing product you can also use for your physical activities. Please let me know if you have any question for me on this presentation. Please, are there any questions for me? Okay, if there are no questions for me, Mante, please, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Philemon. We'll wrap up today's session, which was very educative. It was powerful and it was insightful. So next week at 9, we have our second webinar for the men's mental health, or men's month, or men's health. So it's on physical activity, and the topic is how physical activity supports prostate health. It will be led by Dr. Bella Bello, Senior Lecturer of University of Ghana, Legon. So my name once again is Adomante, and I was your moderator for today. Thank you all for joining. Hope to see you next week. Bye.